Hello everybody and welcome back to Screen Stars. I'm here today to review Darkest Hour that stars Gary Oldman, Lily James and Kristen Scott Thomas as well as others. And this is a movie I've been really looking forward to seeing ever since I saw the trailer last year. But we've had to wait in the UK, strangely, even though it's based on UK politics. We've only just got it in our cinemas now, basically. So we've had to wait to watch it in the UK, but I've been to see it now, and I have to say, what a tremendous movie. Really, really fantastic. Didn't disappoint me at all. And this movie, basically, if you're not sure, is a war-based political drama, essentially. And it is based on essentially 1 month in the political life of Winston Churchill, who's played by Gary Oldman. And it is when he comes into power, um, essentially, the war isn't going well. The previous Prime Minister loses his seat and they decide who's going to take his place. And the reason they bring in Winston Churchill to take his place is because he's not well liked, and they think they could play political games and quite easily get him removed from office. So he's brought in, even though nobody likes him, including King George. And he's got a thankless task, really, because the UK is losing the war as well as the rest of Europe really quite badly, and we're literally days, stroke weeks away from a full-scale invasion. And he really has got tremendous pressure to try and put things right, and it doesn't go right early on. Everything's against him. His own party's against him, and he he doesn't want to begin peace negotiations with the Nazis, which is on the table. He refuses to, really, really hard. He refuses to begin peace negotiations with this tyrant as he sees him. But there are those within his party working against him, trying to force his hand. And all this leads up to the Dunkirk landings, which was Winston's idea. Because we have our boys trapped over on the beaches of France, 300,000 men, and essentially it's the rest of our armed forces, and it looks like we're going to lose them, and if we lose them, we've lost the war. We can't get them back, and he comes up with a genius plan of sending civilian vessels out there, volunteers, and it's a last ditch attempt by him to gain support from the parties. And that's all I need to say on the movie, really. It's all there in the history books. This film actually works really, really well hand in hand as a period piece with Dunkirk, the Christopher Nolan movie, because they both essentially are around the Dunkirk landings. Although this one tells like a month in the life of Winston Churchill. But they do work really, really well together, because I saw Dunkirk fairly recently, and it makes that movie make more sense, and the Dunkirk movie makes this movie make more sense. So they actually work really, really well together. They really, really do. Now, Gary Oldman. What can I say about this performance that isn't being said already? Is already getting the plaudits. If he doesn't get the Oscar for this performance, that's it. I've done with the Oscars. I don't know how to explain how good a performance this is. This is hands down, I think, one of the greatest acting performances I've ever seen. It absolutely staggered me. The greatest compliment I can give this performance by Gary Oldman is you actually forget it's Gary Oldman. He completely embodies the spirit of this person, this character. He becomes Winston Churchill to the point where I forgot it was Gary Oldman at times, and I just completely accepted that this was Winston Churchill. And I was only reminded occasionally with his eyes, because you could see it in his eyes. It was definitely Gary Oldman, and it kind of shocked me back to reality. Truly mesmerising performance, staggering, and this is one of those performances that film students, acting students will watch and study for many, many years. Breathtaking, truly is, and it's worth watching just for the acting performance alone. And it's not just Gary Oldman, who is completely the standout. Lily James plays a wonderful role as essentially his secretary. Really, really lovely performance by her. And Kristen Scott Thomas, who plays his wife, again, it's outstanding by her. And you completely believe their relationship. It was completely convincing. Just the gaze they were giving each other, it looked like pure love. Wonderful performances, and this film is great. It's a political drama, so if that's not your sort of thing, you're probably not going to enjoy it. But I really did. I was completely gripped throughout. Absolutely gripped throughout. The story had me engrossed, and there are elements of this story that I didn't even know myself. I didn't know we were so close to losing, and if it wasn't for Winston's Dunkirk landings idea, we'd have had it. Staggering movie, must see, highly recommended, and this is my favourite film so far this year.